What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Breakdown Automotive. Today we're going to talk about the things I hate most about this BMW X5. Now, this is the first generation BMW X5. It's a 2005 4.4, and to be truthful, before we get into the video, it's one of the best SUVs I've ever driven. For a 2005, this thing is absolutely insane. That still means that there are a few things that I hate about the BMW X5. Before we jump into the video, though, I just want to mention that if you enjoy automotive content, go ahead and subscribe to the Breakdown Automotive YouTube channel. Click the notification button to get notified every time we upload a new video. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and jump into the things I hate about the BMW X5. One of the things that is really surprising about the X5 is how firm the suspension is, and I'm starting to notice this is just a thing that BMW likes to do. The suspension on this X5 is absolutely ridiculous anytime you go over even a small bump. Now, I'm sure compared to other SUVs that came out in 2005, it was much more refined, but truthfully, compared to any modern standard, it is way too firm. On top of that, the BMW X5 has some insane road noise. You can be driving down the highway, and I promise if you're going anything over 60 miles an hour, you cannot hear a thing. The radio cannot keep up with the road noise, and if you try to talk on the phone, you're out of luck. Overall, though, driving through town, the X5 isn't too bad with road noise. It's really only when you get above 50 and 60 miles an hour that it really becomes overwhelming. Another thing about the X5 that I've noticed since driving it is the electronics are a bit spotty, which, to be fair, that's not too ridiculous considering BMW has never really been known for their perfect electronics, and this car actually shares some components with the early 2000s Range Rovers, so yeah. Another thing about the X5 from 2005 is that the looks are questionable at best. The side of the car still looks like a modern BMW X5, and the front of the car actually isn't too bad either. However, the rear of the car, specifically the rear tailgate, is ew. As you can see, the X5's rear tailgate is just not the most pleasing thing to look at. Another weird style piece of the X5 is the parking sensors on the rear. They stick out like nipples, to be honest. Overall, the X5 is not the ugliest SUV of the early 2000s, but it is far from one of the best looking. Another thing that I hate about the X5 and pretty much every older and early 2000s BMW is how firm the seats are. There is no back support, and you kind of just sit there on this church pew. Your church pew, though, is wrapped in some very nice leather that over 166,000 miles hasn't torn at all. However, it is just over some wood. The next to last thing that I hate about the BMW X5, and again about early 2000s BMWs, is the quality of the buttons on the inside. I don't know what it is about the early 2000s BMWs, but the buttons that they used in the cars are absolutely cheap pieces of shit. The air conditioning button feels like it's about to fall off any second, no matter how lightly you touch it. A lot of the buttons in the interior feel like they're about to fall off any second, and I don't understand how BMW used such cheap plastics in their cars at the time. Luckily, over the years, they have changed the style of buttons they use to where they don't stick out and get pulled off so easily. However, in the early 2000s, the buttons they used for even the climate controls are just too fragile. The last and quite possibly the biggest thing that I hate about the X5 is without a doubt the infotainment system. Now, if you've watched any of the previous videos, you know that I absolutely hate iDrive and connected drive and whatever the hell they want to call it now. I despise how complicated those systems were. However, driving this early 2000s BMW has made me fall in love with iDrive. The infotainment system in the X5 shares some of the features with the original L322, and honestly, I do not understand how anyone could use such a horrible system. To change the radio station, it takes a good 5 minutes, and it took 3 in iDrive, so I figured that was bad. Nope. This wins. So thanks for watching this video, guys, on the things that I hate about the BMW X5, especially the 2005 version. To be honest, the reason I have the X5 is because the Range Rover is once again in the shop. So luckily, I was fortunate enough to be offered the X5 for a few days to be able to drive it while Rachel, the Rover, sits in the shop waiting for some new lug nuts because hers were rusted pretty much all the way through. Nevertheless, guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.